So when you're known as being in martial arts for 50 plus years,
Yeah.
and you just say you started at 15, when was that moment when you knew that you wanted to start martial arts?
So I started martial arts at the time. My younger brother, the one's about 22 months younger than me, he was reading something in some type of newspaper about a karate class being offered at the Redlands Recreation Center. And he said, I'm going to go ahead and sign up for this karate class because you never know, you might run into somebody that knows karate, so I want to be able to defend myself too. And I said, man, that's a good idea, let's do it. And we both signed up. And he later transitioned to football, but I stayed with it. And I found a true love when I got into karate. I found something that really resonated with me, and knew for some kind of intrinsic way, I knew I had a lifetime hobby.
What kind of martial arts style was it?
So yeah, when we started in what's called Shorin-ryu karate, which is an Okinawan karate system.
Did you have any tournaments? What was your first tournament like from that type of style?
Oh yeah, it was very competitive back then. We had a lot of. We started off with like an in-school tournament because there were a lot of kids in this class. There were about 120. It was big back then. About 120 kids. Ages like from 6th grade to 11th, 12th grade, and we would have in-school tournaments, and then from there the ones that performed well in those tournaments were allowed to go out to other tournaments. And my first tournament I did pretty good. I don't remember if I won any trophies or anything, because back then you had to fight 5 or 10, 15 people sometimes when you're in the white, yellow, and orange belt category. But I did well. I felt really good about it. My instructors were appreciative of the performance I did.
And how old were you at this time?
I was 15.
Is it still 15?
Yeah, 15.
Okay, so after doing that, what made you want to keep going with martial arts and karate? What made you want to keep going?
There's something about it. I developed to be somewhat of a loner. I kind of was self-motivated, self-regulated, somewhat of an introvert. I could go out and meet a lot of people, and I could have fun. I could be the life of the party, but there was a part of me that liked my isolation and liked my internal world. And with karate, I could kind of have both of those things, and it just resonated with my personality, and that I had something that I could do by myself if necessary. I like to spar people, so I always need somebody to spar, but I could practice the kicks, punches, blocks, and movements by myself, and this really resonated with me, and I became obsessed. I would be in the garage practicing. They'd have to call me to eat, and everybody's watching TV or doing something else. I'm out, practicing. Even now, my wife can be upstairs doing something. I'm down here, right where we are now. This is where I practice. I've always had an affinity for that, and it just feeds that for me.
Was there a moment, do you remember the first moment you might have got into an altercation and you had to use it?
Well, there are a few instances with people that maybe bullied me in the earlier years when I was like in 8th grade or something like that, and by the time I was in 9th grade, almost 10th grade, when I started learning karate, I tightened a few of them up with just my side kick, because it was I had such a fast kick, and when it hit you, you knew you were hit. I mean, I was knocking people down, and I probably didn't have to do this, but as a kid, I wanted to pay certain people back, so it was under the auspices of we're just messing around, but really it was kind of like I'm letting them know that, there's a new sheriff in town.
Could you give like a detail of just one fight, like a picture by picture?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I could give you a detail of the fights. I've got that actually on my website, on the Way of Victory website. I kind of went through that chronology, but this one guy named Frank, he was a friend of me. You know, we were cool, but he used to be able to just kind of throw me around because he was a lot stronger and bigger than me. And then when he came, he said, you know, I hear you know that karate shit. Let me see what you got. I said, you sure? He said, yeah. And he was going to rush at me. Boom! I let him have it with a side kick. You know, so unexpected, so fast, and he just went flying. Man, he flew back about 3 feet, landed on his ass, and everybody was laughing because there was people around because he thought he was going to embarrass me. And then he jumped back up, ran in again. Guess what happened? He got another one, even harder, and it was like he was kind of hurt. And I said, man, you get out. I can keep doing this all day, man, because I was used to sparring then, and I knew how to time it. And that kind of, he cursed at me, and was upset, but he never bothered me again. I mean, we were still halfway cool, but there, like I said, he was a new sheriff in town. That my sidekick was the main thing I worked on back then, both sidekicks.
Okay, and then this was around, what, 15, 16?
That right now I'm probably looking at 16.
16.
I had about 7 or 8 months of karate then. I think I might be 15, almost 16, but I didn't have a year in at that time, but I had enough to do that.
And how were you in high school as a student? How were you in high school?
Well, in high school, I wasn't really a good student. I actually ended up dropping out of high school and joining the Marine Corps because I knew that school wasn't for me, and I just didn't want to be just a high school dropout. And my father is PhD, and I'm a dropout, so I was able to drop out, but my father signed for me to go in the Marines, and it's one of the best moves, I ever made.